Alright guys, Supreme Com here, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Crossbone Gundam X-1 Kai. So this is one of the 3 new standard alteration, and honestly, I'm just going to review the one that is setting up to me the most, because this one was quite a highly anticipated one because of the back part EXQ providing that, ridiculously power attribute. EXQ cooldown reduced by 20%. So this one was like back in the good old days where EXQ parts were really limited as far as the cooldown. So this one came in clutch for dual type building, that's specifically for machine based build, because that's what I use for machine based build, because there is just not a whole lot of good standard option or even warfare selection options. So that's that. So these are going to be the following stat before alteration. So it's not that bad actually. Defensive side is actually quite noticeably high, so that's pretty good. So this one, so as far as this iteration of it, I think as far as upgrading wise, I think I'm pretty much closing into like draining most of my resources. So for the next 2 weeks following that, I mean, I don't know if I can kind of continue doing this, but we'll try. We'll definitely see what we can do. But so far I should be able to max out the Alteration Gundam and then Wing Gundam Zero, or the Wing Gundam LSO version. So let's hope for the best. But without any further ado, let's kind of take a look at all these parts right here. So we have 8 parts in total. So we have 4 parts with 4 EXQs, and then 4 parts with portraits. So portrait wise, you guys do already know like what I want out of them. I want them to be really good, as far as the alteration. So this I want you guys to spend your resources into getting them 6-star, all that shenanigans. So these are the following stats. So I guess they're pretty good. Even the shot attack is quite high, even better than some of the more shooting based oriented standard parts. So that's pretty good to see. Tag wise, you do have high mobility, and then Gundam type, and then as for the portrait itself, okay. So second trait, obviously after alteration, is pretty underwhelming. So this one is definitely, in my opinion, a no for alteration. So that's that. As far as the first trait, it is what it is. You do have to down to enemy before proctoring that. So in a one enemy situation, like an arena, like in the boss multi-mission fight, this one is completely useless. So overall, not the biggest impression on this part, so definitely a skip for me. This one, just gonna take a quick glance at it before alteration. Just want to see what we are rocking with. So B, okay, B minus, B minus. So this one, you don't necessarily need to alterate it unless you are looking purely for the stats, which I think shot defense is actually higher for whatever reason. I have no idea. But the armor is actually quite high, 7k. That's pretty juicy right there. Yeah, double saber shear, so B plus B plus after alteration. Okay, pretty good. Arms 10k. Wow. Okay, pretty respectable. We got the brand marker. Okay, high mobility and the Gundam type, so looks pretty good. I do wonder how everything looks after alteration. Just want to see this one, the skull heart shot. This one, I wouldn't call it like a really good EXQ or by any means, but why 60 seconds for the first time usage? So in terms of you being able to use it frame 1 when you activate or when you hop into a match, I believe you need at bare minimum 50% initial charge boosted. So it's crazy. But this one, this provides some health. Also, this provides some melee attack up, but this is not acceptable. Like, I don't know why some EXQ they have it that high. It makes no sense to me. But it just gives you an S power, so it's cool. But that is way too long. That's double the amount of time the regular one would need. So 20 or 25% of those initial charge will not be enough. You need 50 at the least 50. So this is crazy. So I will not really recommend alterating this one, except maybe you want it for the stats, which I think is pretty decent enough. You do have protect and then high mobility, so definitely really good option for your melee build for sure. But the EXQ, not so much. Alright, so coming down to the best back part so far, we have the When power attribute, EXQ cooldown reduced by 20%, and they did not fumble this one. Alright. They actually give us a form of power boosting cell, so that was good. That's really what we want to see, bare minimum. They could have really shafted this one by not giving anything that's utility base wise, like these, or if they didn't give like I don't know something else. So this is good. This is really good for infighter and stuff. So not bad. Stat wise on this one is fairly good for your shot based stuff. So I think everything like the offense stuff is pretty much like bare, like not bare minimum, but they're actually quite averaging out. So that's good to see. Melee defense is actually a little bit higher than shot defense, so we would love to see that on a a little bit more melee oriented portrait wise part right here. So not bad, not bad. All right, so moving on to the screw whip. 11.9, so almost breaking that 12,000, although you don't have any melee defense. But let's see what the portrait is. So first trade is definitely an L, yes, that's for sure. So when you are fighting type advantage, melee power boost for 40%, so that's good. This one, like I said, this one will just be very situational. It's either gonna pop or not depending on the enemy, so definitely really good for a one player or one enemy base, like boss hunting missions, like arenas. Not so much for like general other content, like your weekly or bi-weekly warfare event. It may not be that good because sometimes they may mix in like a typing that is disadvantage to you or type neutral to you, then you cannot proc to this one. So not the best, I would say, just not the best. Coming down to the Peacock Smasher. Let's see what's going on here. So only 9,500 for stats, but in terms of this one, the Peacock Smasher EXQ, so we're looking at C power, but S piercing. Okay, so this one is going to be ripping through some stuff. All right, cool. That's definitely really quite interesting, we have to say. But now coming down to the ABC cloak, this is what we're seeing. So so first rate is good, enemy shooting power reduced by 30%, and then secondary trait before 40-second pass, enemy EXQ penetration reduced by 80%. All right, fair enough. I always have been wanting to test this iteration of portrait just to see how the reduction penetration works as far as like to the enemy, like does it reduce like the damage. I wish I would have gotten the Gundam Double X, like the big scale version, so I can actually try it out, because the shoe part has exactly the same thing with a high percentage, so I can definitely easily play around with it a little bit more. But this one should be a pretty cool portrait to have, I guess, in a way. But the stats on this one is a little bit crazy. They gave this one like a really high shot defense, so I don't know honestly what happened right there. But other than that, as for the alteration back part, is definitely really good. The other one could be very subjective depending on what you need. Shield wise, other could be said otherwise. But the whip, the screw whip, the head part, not so much. Definitely really situational, which I don't really like in a sense. But in terms of EXQ, they were definitely better after alteration, that is given. But there isn't one where it's like starting at D power, it's jumping up to like, let's say like a E power or B power, whatever. So that's so that pretty much means you don't really need to alter them if you are simply using EXQ, except maybe for the Peacock Smasher, because that one just kind of warrants it. But other than that, let's hop into some quick multi-mission. I think this week one we do have the crew multi-missions. So what I'll do, I will actually use all three of these melee EXQ first, while the Peacock Smasher, I think I'm not gonna do like a whole separate one for it. I'm just gonna hop into a quick friend battle, and you guys can just kind of see what kind of power this one is looking at. So I think that should be the plan. The multi-mission, do want to quickly show you guys what are the stat after alteration. So these are what we're looking at. So overall, it's not bad. I do have, let's say, high mobility activated, so that's why we do have higher melee attack, and then we do have higher shot defense. But overall, pretty good, right? Some of the parts are definitely pretty usable, some may not be. EXQ wise, they're pretty much the same thing. Alter them as needed to be. Don't just alter it because of XYZ. Do definitely consider do you need it first. But let's actually hop into some multi-mission now. Alright, so we are in. So I did pack myself 50% initial charge boosted, so I can kind of get this up and running already. So let's see. Oh, so it's one of these EXQ that has no range. So you have to kind of hook into the enemy first, right? I don't know. Well, first of all, this one does not have any good range, and then secondly, this one costs so much to have your first time using it up, so not fairly ideal. But in terms of this EXQ, could be target, right? But the range is really short either, so yeah. So it pretty much does this. So it's gonna shoot like a anchor from the front skirt to kind of get into the enemy. So what's the range of that? Yeah, it's actually not far enough. Yeah, you have to be really close. That's kind of sad. Yeah, you guys can definitely decide is this still good or not, right? But like, I guess besides doing this, like in a friend battle, most of the time you guys are gonna be like, you know, up close and personal with whoever you're fighting anyway. So I don't think it should be an issue using the Skull Heart EXQ. But these one aren't like these one, like this one right here. Could, you know, could be situational, definitely. You know, just don't have that range. I wish that like the final attack is like a little bit more lunging forward. That'll be great. But you know, this one is just dry. We have seen this execute so many times already. But this one here, definitely pretty good, right? Yeah, this one is not like the best animation, but at least it's do something. So I think that pretty much just kind of showcased everything already. So does it have I don't want to say it have iframe, right? It does seem that I'm not taking any hits, I think, but still. I think that's it. So I'm gonna hop into a quick front battle using the Peacock Smasher, and then that will be pretty much it. Alright, so we are in front battle, obviously. So this is my unit is a speed attribute versus a P attribute friend here, or yeah, P attribute friend. So let's see. So as far as the animation, we were not done yet, but what is that damage, man? We melted my friend right there in like a quick second. Alright, but the video wouldn't be complete without me trying out what is like the max damage potential for this series. So let me see if I can get that grab real quick. Yep, there you go. Alright, let me see what's the final attack number. 12 million, we'll take that. It's not too shabby. Not too shabby. It's pretty good because we were still getting in between hits. So I want to say it should have been clocking and closing into 20 million. So I'll take that. I don't think, well, the build I'm using isn't like my other one because I have it preset to my older one. So I didn't have like, you know, well, keep that in mind. I had to sack off like one portrait slot so I can get in a double 25%. So we had to 125%. And then another one right there. So we were sacking off few power stuff going on. So that's why. But other than that, I think that is pretty good showcasing for the Crossbone X-1 Kai right here. Definitely, I think the back portrait is definitely worth it 100%. All the other one are definitely subjective to what you need an EXQ. Otherwise as well, they aren't really all that great, to be honest with you guys. Style wise, you know, it's pretty decent enough to warrant the alteration, but always before investing, do make sure that or you guys really need it, because altering these 6 parts to their max capacity, it is a little bit expensive, so do kind of keep that in mind. But other than that, that's pretty much what I have for you guys, and then I'll be catching you guys on the next one.